Hello and welcome back to my channel where I like to have fun with all things beauty while being critical about what I accept into my collection. Today is an empties video. So this is primarily focused on skincare. I do include makeup items, but they're usually few and far between because I don't pan that many things. That being said, I am primarily a makeup focused channel in general. So I don't talk extensively about skincare, but it is my first love. So I do always do these videos whenever I fill my little recycling bin here up. I do use that as an excuse to talk about some of the fun skincare that I've been using. One disclaimer that I always like to make whenever I talk about skincare at all in any capacity is that I firmly believe that the best strategy when it comes to skincare is education. I was able to save thousands of dollars on my skincare once I just got a basic understanding of the key ingredients that I was looking for that addressed my problem specifically. That is mainly hormonal acne, hyperpigmentation as a result of said acne, and general aging skin. So all of the fun stuff that comes along with that. So basically dry, sensitive, aging skin with a little bit of hormonal acne sprinkled in on top. The reason having the science first approach to skincare helped me so much was that it immediately took the mystery out of things. I feel like so much of this skincare that is marketed, especially towards aging women, has to do with mystery ingredients or proprietary blends that are supposed to do literal magic. And even though we can't prove that they do those things, we can't prove that they don't. So I feel like it gets people to shell out hundreds of dollars and try things based on exclusivity or vibes rather than real science, and I no longer want to fall victim to that. So I decided to get myself a basic education that has allowed me to see through a lot of that type of marketing, and I just feel better about all of my purchases now. That does not mean that I don't still indulge from time to time, and there's something to be said for cosmetic elegance in a formula. I still am willing to pay for that sometimes, but I no longer feel a sense of urgency like I need to. That is so grounding, and I am so grateful for that. And there are a number of really great resources now on YouTube and other platforms that help me get to where I am today, which is just a whole lot more relaxed about skincare. People like Alice in the Rabbit Hole, Dr. Dre, Michelle Wong, and so many others. So when I look at my empties, there are really only 3 products that are absolute mainstays that I never go without, and everything else is sort of a bonus. So those 3 things are, number 1, sunscreen. I try a few different ones, but you're never gonna catch me without sunscreen. Number 2 is tretinoin, because I have hormonal acne and aging skin. Tretinoin is the most effective ingredient that I have ever used in my entire life. It's the only thing that I can say without a doubt has made a night and day difference in my skin. So tretinoin is number 2. And number 3 is just a good moisturizer. It doesn't have to be any specific one, but those are my 3 absolute musts. So just to get it out of the way, I'm going to talk about agency because that's where I get my tretinoin. I really like it because I don't have a dermatologist. So even though it would be cheaper for me to go to a dermatologist and get a prescription that had tretinoin by itself from the pharmacy, I'm pretty sure you can get a tube of that for like $10. I like agency because they compound it with other ingredients and I can get it delivered to my house with very little effort on my part. So I get my tretinoin at 0.14%, and they add in panthenol at 1%, tranexamic acid at 5%, niacinamide at 4%. So I use this once a day at night, and because I deal with so much hyperpigmentation between melasma and healing acne, I also get their dark spot formula, and I get hydroquinone on and off. So right now I have a formula with hydroquinone at 8%, resveratrol at 1%, azelaic acid at 3%, and kojic acid at 4%. And when I'm off the hydroquinone, I get azelaic acid at 10%, kojic acid at 4%, resveratrol at 1%, and EGCG at 2%. So this covers a lot of bases. I know dark spot serums in particular can be quite pricey, so I really like getting the bundle deal, and I feel like all of my actives are taken care of in one place. It just keeps things simple, and I love that. I am not an affiliate with agency. I have tried other services, and in my experience, they're all very similar, so I don't think this is better than any of the other ones. Some of the other ones come with prescription pills as well. For example, some people are also on spironolactone, so you can work with a service that can give you topical and oral spironolactone if that's something you might benefit from. I stick with this because this is the service that I found first, but I think any of them are great if you can't get to a dermatologist in person. I know actually even the one time I did go to a dermatologist and get a compound of tretinoin with some other things added, it actually costs more than this. So I think they're all getting kind of competitive at this point. But anyway, I also very quickly wanted to mention what else is coming up on my channel. So I have plans to do a Danessa Myricks Lightwork 7 review, a Sephora haul part 2, a Nomad palette ranking, my end of year favorites ranking, and an update on my CO2 laser experience. So if you follow me a little while, you may know that around this time last year, I got a CO2 laser. And I'm not saying anything negative about CO2 lasers as a modality. I think they can be excellent, especially if you're somebody who's had bad cystic acne and a lot of scars from that. I think a CO2 laser can be a life changer. However, I unfortunately went to a practitioner, which I should have gone running from the building the second I met with him. There was just one red flag after another, but I didn't listen to my gut. And I let him talk me into not only doing a CO2 laser at the highest setting, but pairing it with RF microneedling at the same time for just under $4,000. And let me tell you, it did not go well. I wanted to make this video like 6 months ago because that would have been enough time for me to know what my skin was really going to ultimately look like. But if I'm very honest with you, I was too emotional about it. I'm still emotional about it. This is still something that's really hard to talk about because I paid somebody thousands of dollars to scar me, essentially. I have a lot more hyperpigmentation now than I did before the procedure, and it's been hard to come to terms with that. It's also something that I have to be careful speaking about because I know what happened to me is nowhere near how bad it can be. I know other people have had way worse experiences and been scarred so much worse, like disfigured for life. I know in the scheme of things, I am very lucky. And a year later, even though my skin isn't necessarily back to as good as it was before I did it, I can still have corrective procedures to get me to that point when I'm ready to do it. The reason I think it's important for me to talk about my experience is twofold. Number one, I think it's more common to have an experience like mine, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's just not good. I also think it's common to come across practitioners the way I did, which this guy isn't Dr. Death. He's just not as good as he thinks he is. So I think it's common to come across people like that are just way overconfident in their ability and their skills. And when you come in and complain about the results not working out, they try to gaslight you and tell you that you're crazy or it's your fault. So I want to sort of make it as a PSA to learn from my mistakes. I'm hoping to do all of those videos before the end of the year. Some of them may spill into January, but that's sort of everything that's on the agenda coming up. The other thing that I'm in the middle of right now is I'm trying to improve my editing. So if you know me at all, you know I am the opposite Abby. I have a really nice camera, but I can't take credit for setting any of that up. My husband did all of it. I just press the on button and hope for the best. When it comes to editing, I'm even worse. I use iMovie. I love iMovie. It's so easy to navigate, but it has its limitations. So I am in the process of right now with this video trying to use actual editing software for the first time ever. For that reason alone, I really hope I'm able to ever post this video. I hope I can get through it. But because of that, I'm not going to be including as much B-roll as I would normally like. I want to eventually get to the point where I can do that because I think posting pictures of the products with the prices underneath is hugely important and something that I appreciate in every single video that I watch. But for this first video, I'm going to just focus on the basics. So I will include that kind of B-roll for as many products that really stand out, but not every single one. That being said, most of these things I have already spoken about in previous Empties videos, so this is going to be part of a playlist, and all of my videos have timestamps. So if you want to hear more about a product, you can easily navigate that in some of those other videos. So with all of that out of the way, I'm going to start going through these things rapid fire. I always go category by category. So I'm going to start with makeup because I always have such few things things and go from there. So number one is this empty of the Lancome Lashy Doll. I got this at the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty because it was 50% off. That's it. I wouldn't pay full price for this because I think it's really good, but I don't think it's great. So if I'm gonna spend $30 on a mascara, it needs to be great. 15 though, totally on board. This is not clumpy. It adds length and volume. It lasts a really long time. It's a great mascara at 50% off. And I guess that's the only real makeup product. Next, I have this from M Cosmetics, the Divine Water Perfecting Mist. This is skincare / finishing spray, and this was fine. People rave about the smell. I don't think it smells great. It didn't work any better than any of my other finishing mists, so even though it didn't ruin my makeup or do anything bad, it didn't do anything great either, so I won't be purchasing that again. And finally, in the makeup category, I have this Pat McGrath Labs Divine Skin. This is a moisturizer that can also be used as a makeup primer. Like most primers for dry skin are just moisturizers, but this one actually knocked my socks off. I don't hear anybody talking about this product, but if you have incredibly dry skin, I think you should give this a try. I'm pretty sure it's the glowiest moisturizer that I've ever used in my whole life. And the thing I like the most about it is that it achieves that glow while also being pretty flat, not overly greasy. It doesn't pill. It lays really well under makeup. It kind of is my favorite primer. On talking more about this in another video whenever this goes on sale. I will include B-roll of me putting it on so you can see how glowy it is, but suffice to say, I've actually paid full price for this. So I hate how expensive it is, but I really, really do love it as a moisturizer. Up, I have body care. I only have one. This is the Sol de Janeiro Brazilian body wash. I've had this, the moisturizing shower gel and the shower oil, and they're fine. I refuse to spend a lot of money on body products in general, but if this is ever on sale, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a nice experience. To smell that in the shower, it's delightful. Next up, I'm gonna do face cleansers. So first up, I have this from Dew, the Ethereal Facial Cleansing Oil, and I hate so much that I'm about to tell you that this did not work well for me. I love Charlotte Palomino with my whole heart. She is one of my favorite people on the planet. Yet I can't use her skincare because I'm allergic to it, and I was excited because at least I could use a cleanser, but it failed to take off my eye makeup. Because of that, I went through this incredibly quickly, and I will not be buying it again. It worked fine when I had only sunscreen on my face, but I wear makeup every day. So every single day I'm gonna have eyeliner and lash glue and all kinds of stuff on my face that I need to be effectively cleansed of. So I just need something a little stronger, as much as it pains me to say. Speaking of stronger, for makeup especially, I do prefer a cleansing balm because I feel like I can really work it into my eyelashes. I still use oils, but more frequently when I'm just washing off sunscreen. So two really great cleansing balms is the Clean It Zero from Vanilla Co. and the Naturium Purple Ginseng Cleansing Balm. I've already gone ahead and another one of the Clean It Zero because of the size. This comes in a jumbo, and this is only 3 ounces. So as enjoyable as this was, I'm not going for that. I'm going for price per ounce. And the best one I found that's effective is the Clean It Zero. For second cleanses, I just have one here. This is the Dermalogica Ultra Calming Cleanser. I only bought this because it was 50% off at Ulta, and it was fine. It was everything it claimed to be, but I think it's too expensive for a face wash. I think this step is important if you have sensitive, dry skin, but I think you can get effective, sensitive, skin-friendly cleansers at a much cheaper price point. So I won't be replacing that. Deodorant. I have this from Fleur, the Vanilla Skin. I've had several of these. I find this very enjoyable to use, and I am not somebody who gets on with the natural deodorants. The natives, the Salt and Stones, all the ones that smell really nice but contain a lot of absorbing clays and fragrance components typically make me sweat more. They make me stink more, and I won't go anywhere near them. But if a deodorant AHA ingredients, then they work for me. So typically you find those in serum deodorants, like Kosas has one, Necessaire. I think all of those brands have AHA serum deodorants. This is the first one I've seen in a creamy base, so I was worried. I didn't know if this would work for me or not, but I can confirm, even living in Florida, this worked extremely well for me. Caveat being, I am not somebody who sweats a lot. I never have been. I'm just not a sweaty person, even when it's hot out. If I was, I would probably stick with an antiperspirant. The reason I stopped using those was I was getting a lot of irritation because I would put them on in the morning after shaving my armpits. Come to find out that those are actually more effective used at night. So if I did sweat a lot, I would put an antiperspirant on before bed and be less likely to have irritation after shaving. But fortunately, I don't really need to bother with that, and I'm grateful because this smells better. Vanilla skin is one of my favorite scents, so I'm really happy with this, and I already have another one open. SK2 facial geared towards hyperpigmentation and dark spots, and I feel like for me this is effective, but it takes a long time. I have to use it for a long time, but it does help. This is the 230 milliliter size, which I was able to get at a fantastic deal on the K-beauty websites before the tariff situation. I have never seen this at an affordable price in the US, so because of that, I won't be replacing that, which I'm a little bit sad about, but I do feel like I have other things on board, so I can live without it. But I do think it's something worth picking up if you can get a good deal. So I guess going from thinnest to thickest, and another toning step, I have this milkshake from Beekman 1802, and this is fine. This is one of those biphase, the oil and the water, and you mix it together. It's nice for dry skin. I enjoyed using it, but I would never buy one of these full price. I do like the skincare from Beekman 1802, and I love them as a company, but unfortunately, none of it's knocked my socks off enough that I really go out of my way to buy it at full price. Same goes for pharmacy. Here I have the Honey Milk Hydrating Essence, and I really like this since I'm allergic to the Rhode glazing milk and the Tier and those kind of milky emulsion type formulas have anything that I'm sensitive to in it, so I enjoy having it, but I don't feel like it's totally necessary. Now we'll talk about serums. My number one favorite serum in this whole collection is from Chemist Confessions. This is the Aquafix. This has glycerin, sodium PCA, panthenol, allantoin, centella, and sodium hyaluronate in it, and this is just a drink of water for my dry skin. I absolutely love this stuff. I've gone through probably 20 of them at this point, and it's just something that I find really comforting and soothing on my dry skin. I feel similarly about the Manyo Bifida serum, which I feel like does help calm down my sensitive skin over time. It's not something that I feel lost without, so like I can totally live without one, but it is nice. It's an affordable Bifida if you're interested in that, and it's not a bad price point. So I have bought another one of those. These two are just for hydration, and I use them interchangeably. This one from Coco Kind, the Ceramide Barrier Serum, and the Bioma Hydrating Serum with ceramide, squalane, and glycerin. They're both fine. My skin enjoys these, but I don't feel like they're absolutely necessary. Then I have this PDRN from VT Cosmetics. I have tried a lot of PDRN serums. I actually even had PDRN from salmon injected under my eyes, and I don't really think that did anything either, so I don't really care about the PDRN as an ingredient. I'm not that impressed with that. What I am impressed by though is how hydrating this serum is. Even though I don't have one of these in my collection currently, I will absolutely be replacing this for the winter time because it is so hydrating. It feels a lot like snail mucin, oddly enough, at least in this delivery system, so it's enjoyable. I'll buy it again, but I don't feel like I need it. Another ingredient that I like but don't need is this CoQ10 serum from APLB. I really like CoQ10 in my skincare as an antioxidant. I think it's nice. My skin reacts well to it, but this one came with retinol mixed in. Now I was able to use this because the retinol is at a low enough dose that it really didn't add any irritation, but this was just a free gift with purchase. So I would probably get something with just CoQ10 and leave the retinol out, but if you can't use tretinoin and you find retinol irritating in general, you might like this because I do think this was very gentle and I found it hydrating. The last two serums I have here here are from Peach Slices. I like Peach Slices. I've had good luck with their products over the years, but I didn't find either of these that effective. So I have the Redness Relief, which is soothing, and the Super Fade for discoloration. I just didn't see results with this. So maybe someone with less hyperpigmentation would have better luck than I did, but I will be passing on those in the future. Moisturizers. My #1 favorite moisturizer right now is the Bioma Barrier Repair Treatment. I adore this because it has the same finish as some of my most expensive moisturizers that I've ever tried. And let me tell you, I have tried a lot. As someone with dry skin, I am constantly testing moisturizers and nothing holds a candle to this. My one complaint is I don't love the packaging because I never know how much I have left or when my last pump will be, and that scares me a little bit. But they're cheap enough that I can just replace them quickly. And I love this, so I can't rave about it enough. I also tried the Moisture Rich Cream version of it, and I don't like this. I don't like the way this sits on my skin. This feels like it leaves a film on top of my skin, whereas the Barrier Repair version feels like it sinks in and leaves a nice glow. So I already have a new one of these. Moisturizers that I'm not replacing is this Pharmacy Honey Halo. I love this stuff, especially in the winter, and it smells like honey. It's a really enjoyable experience each and every time I would reach for it, but it's too expensive for what it is. That's the bottom line. So I would get that on sale only. Up next is this Propolis Light Cream from CosRx. My skin really likes propolis as an ingredient. I find it very soothing, especially when I have acne, and this was fine. I would buy this again on sale. I do need something a little more moisturizing than what this is. So it was one of those, like, it was fine, not much to say. Unlike this from Fresh. So this is the Rose Deep Hydration Cream. I've gotten this more than once, 50% off at Ulta, but I would never pay full price because I don't like how this feels on my skin. I can only use this at night because, similar to my complaint about the Bioma Rich Cream, this just never feels like it really sinks in. And because of that, I don't want anything to do with that during the day and even at night. I just prefer this. So I won't be buying another one of those. I have an Aven water like I always do. I just love the way this feels. I try to get those on sale. And finally, I have 2 sunscreens. I have the P20, the Hyperpigmentation Defense, and the La Roche-Posay Athelios UV Immune 400. Love both of these, but they are European. So as an American, I can't get those easily right now, which I am sad about. I am currently still working through my arsenal of K-Beauty sunscreens. I have a lot of those that I stockpiled at the end of last year, but I am eventually going to have to revisit the American market and see what I can get easily and what I like the most. I tend to not get on with the American filters. Even zinc, I find zinc very drying on my skin. So at some point before next summer, I will hopefully have a new favorite to talk about. But if you're not in this country and you can get either one of these, I mean, P20 is my favorite, really gonna be outside, and then La Roche-Posay is very cosmetically elegant under makeup. So both of these are winners, especially if you struggle with hyperpigmentation. And that is everything. That is all my empties for right now. I hope the flow of this video is okay. I appreciate you having patience with me. Trying to learn this stuff during like the busiest time of the year for skincare and makeup was probably not the best decision, but I am doing my best. I'm also in the process of getting a monitor so that hopefully I can start doing my makeup on camera in a reasonable way. So changes are coming. I'm trying to make things better, and I appreciate you being here with me so much. I hope that you're taking care of yourself. I hope that you're having a beautiful day or night wherever you are. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.